Hey guys, this is Darren Benton again with Performance Motorcoaches out of Texas. I want to do a little walkthrough video. This particular coach is sold, but just wanted to kind of show you a coach that obviously took some time to build, kind of talk about some unique features of it, and just kind of display yet another coach coming from Showhauler and from Performance Motorcoaches. For some of the people that haven't seen the videos in the past, number one, we are not videographers. So if you're looking for this really cool cut produced video, click the next video because this is not one of them. Very instructional. We'll try to get to every kind of aspect of the coach. It'll probably be about 45 minutes to shoot the entire video. Obviously we'll leave things out. Comment section, that's fine. Leave all the comments you want down below. If you're really truly interested in one of these coaches, the best thing to do is to send me an email or call me direct. The store number here is 806-412-0015. We don't really sell these coaches off of the comments off of YouTube. We appreciate the comments, but really and truly just get a hold of me directly. I can answer questions. I can go through and kind of talk to you about the coach. So this coach was a sold unit. We started working with this customer about August of last year. He had some specific demands. We had a coach that was pretty close to his current demands at that particular point in time. He just wanted some more tans, and so we just built one from the ground up. This is on a Freightliner Cascadia. This is probably going to be some of the last Freightliner Cascadia, kind of the classic Cascadias you'll see from us. Freightliner has just now introduced or allowed us to build on the new body style Cascadia. A little bit sleeker looking. As far as aesthetics, going to be a little bit different. Same power plants we're going to keep on. The cab itself is actually the exact same cab, difference being the hood, door skin, and just a few features on the outside and a different dash layout as well. Should have some of those rolling down towards mid-year, towards the first of the year, so we'll have some more of those. But this particular unit is a Cascadia. It's the 125, so it's the long hood version, 600 horsepower. It's the DT16, so it's 15.6 liters, 600 horsepower, and 1850 foot-pounds of torque. So about the most powerful rig you'll get out there. Does a great job in the hills. The smaller horsepower unit is the same torque, but there is a big difference as far as the size of the engine. But to be honest with you, this is my truck of preference. We get people all the time that call about Peterbilts, Kenworths, blah, blah, blah. Freightliner Cascadia is my number one truck. It's extremely quiet. It's very easy to get serviced, and definitely the sleek look. This is the only truck that we can utilize the Showhauler fiberglass cap to. We can use that new fiberglass, we can use the fiberglass cap on the new body style, so pretty happy with that. But it just makes a nice sleek look, a nice good classic look to it. Cabbed axle on this, I believe, is 230 over one overall length, and this is a little over 40 foot, so call it the 41 foot range. Very agile coach, being a tandem axle, get in and out of a lot of places. Because of the weight of a Showhauler, it's a fully welded steel frame as opposed to fiberglass walls. We're traditionally a lot heavier than most coaches, so it's imperative that we do some tandem axles with the Showhauler coaches, just because they're so darn heavy. You buy some more tires, but as far as agility out on the road, high winds, to me it's a small price to pay. So we've done some singles. You get a little more body roll on the singles and high wind. I mean, this coach will stick to the ground. 40 mile an hour side wind, you won't have any problem maintaining 75 miles an hour with a real high side wind. Just kind of go down it a little bit. Of course, full body paint. They do a phenomenal job. Paint jobs generally run anywhere from $20,000 to about $28,000. If you went to a body shop and asked them to paint this coach on a local level, you'd be talking $50,000, $60,000, and not near the caliber of paint quality. It's pretty cool that they do all the graphics all the way in the door jambs. This particular rig started out as a white unit. You don't see any white paint whatsoever, so they really do a good job painting the coaches. The nice thing about most of the Showhaulers I do, it is one of one paint. If we have somebody that wants to duplicate that paint, we generally try to deviate a little bit. So, you won't see another coach running up and down the highway with the exact same paint job. Just kind of makes it a little bit more unique. When you're spending this much money and taking this much time to get a unit, typically it's about a year, you want something that you won't pull in an RV park and see somebody else with the exact same thing. So it's very cool in that regard. Pretty much, the colors inside will be a little bit different. Everybody has very specific needs. That's one unique thing about Showhauler, is kind of whatever you want. I mean, it's a la carte, sky's the limit. And so it is cool to be able to build somebody's dream starting from the ground up. We'll go through. This does have the side swing baggage doors, which is my particular favorite. Easy to get into, a little bit more money for the side swings. It's a little pull-out tray here. So, if you wanted to have a outdoor cooler or something like that, that tray will pull out. These are all fully locking, and essentially the lock mechanisms work for the compartments and the entry. And then when we get them here in the dealership, by the way, we're in the service department today, Sunday, we wire into the cab itself. So it's pretty cool whether you're operating off the keypad or the key fob, everything locks. So it's not like a lot of coaches where you have all these different locks and different fobs. It just kind of becomes problematic. I tell everybody, you can buy a $15,000 Kia that has automatic locks. Why wouldn't you not have automatic locks on a $500,000 motorhome? Side mounted awning. This customer came from a real ultra high-end coach, very problematic. He came to me and he said, I want to simplify my life. I want to get a motorhome that I can get in and just operate and use, not have to worry. So we just did the simple side-mounted awning. Out here in the Southwest, it's windy all the time. The side-mounted awnings work a lot better. Not as sexy as the rooftops, but if you're looking for straight utility, this is definitely the way to go. And this coach is definitely built for utility in mind. There does have a lot of options and amenities on it. It's got a beautiful paint job, but we really wanted to make sure that things simply didn't break. So we'll continue on. More of the baggage doors here. This is one kind of a signature thing that I started doing a few years ago, combining two storage compartments, so basically two doors, but one entire unit. So if you had like something longer, ladder, skis or something like that, you could be able to access that. That's the problem with a truck chassis, because we have a drive line coming down the middle of the coach. We don't have any cross storage whatsoever. So just kind of a nice little feature. Really not much to add as far as dollars to do that. And we could technically, you could add, you could have three separate doors with one large compartment, basically bringing them all together there. Wanted to kind of show you this. So I get customers that call all the time and say, well, why does Showhauler use these slide arms? The reason why is they're, again, utility. They just don't seem to break. This is a very simple Liftco slide mechanism. You have the arms on the inside and out of the coach. It supports the slide in a great manner. You don't have any real wear parts whatsoever. I can tell you, since I've been doing this as a Showhauler dealer about 5 years and I've been selling used Showhaulers for over a decade, we really don't have any issues with the slides. That's just, that's kind of the principle to a Showhauler. We try to make things simpler versus more complicated. So, aesthetics, yes, the arm, you could argue the arm is kind of somewhat ugly, but when your side outs don't break, that's obviously, to me, the most important aspect. Of course, you can see the full body paint that's brought through on the edge of the slide. You'll look at some other coaches and it won't have the paint on the side of the slides. Just things like cost cutting and whatnot, but definitely a little bit different aspect with the Showhauler. We'll come rearward to the axle here. This is a pretty cool feature we can do on varying coaches. We'll call this a 3/4 pass-through. Because we can't access the storage compartment on the other side, we can go all basically to the back of that other storage compartment. So there again, ladders, skis, fishing poles, whatever, you could be able to slide that back in there. That's just those boxes there. That's extra tile. To be honest with you, I've not had a single tile break, but they provide extra tiles. You know, should you ever have any kind of issues, you don't have to go searching for an exact tile to match. We'll come around the back side. Of course, we're in service, try not to catch all the workbenches and whatnot, but wanted to give like a full walkthrough. Nice heavy-duty steel ladder. If you've seen any of my videos, you see that this is my ladder preference. Forever, I wouldn't put a ladder on one because I hated the cheap ladders that the RV industry throws out on their coaches. To me, they're death traps. You know, I've broken them. They're a pretty simple design. They have little plastic keepers, and the plastic keepers break, and then you end up coming down a few rungs. Hopefully, you don't make it all the way to the bottom. But nice, heavy steel ladder. It's only rated at 250 pounds. Showhauler generally builds everything a lot more substantial and then rates it relatively low. To me, you know, if you had a bike rack or something like that, or you had a kayak, I would not be afraid to strap several bicycles or a kayak to the back of this without having to stick anything up top. So nice heavy duty steel ladder there. The hitch, basically, you know, the evolution of the show haulers were predominantly racers, guys pulling big trailers. Now we're dealing with a lot of just regular coach customers, but they still have the nice 40,000 pound capacity hitch on the back. Of course, we generally go through and just weld a 2-inch receiver. A lot of our customers, RV customers, are flat towing, but if you do have a stacker, you can still put your stacker trailer right there. This ball setup is rated at 30,000 pounds and 6,000 pounds of tongue weight. We'll continue on. They're all built with what I call them a buddy plug. So basically, a little 50 amp plug right here. If you had a trailer, if you had a stacker, if you had a friend, you were dry camping somewhere, there's a pretty large generator on board, they can plug in and be able to run an entire RV off of the generator on this coach. Nice fiberglass cap. This is the same cap that they've had for quite some time. Just a nice clean look. We get some people that want to do some rear windows. We cannot do that with the fiberglass cap, but we can build them just a little bit more boxy look, and we can accommodate a rear window. Or, I mean, we've done them with rear entries and whatnot, but you can't do that with the fiberglass cap. Come around here. There again, people that have seen my videos, I'm very anti-propane. To me, the idea of having to get propane is just another setback, another stress point of RVing. This is a diesel-fired, basically an all-electric coach, and so you don't rely on propane for any kind of domestic water use or heat internally. So this is a diesel-fired boiler. It's from ITR. The little bit smaller company than AquaHot. The nice thing about them is they're very customer service oriented. You can pick up the phone, and if you have an issue, they'll talk to you over the phone. They'll overnight you a part. Versus AquaHot as a company, you're going to have to leave a message for. They just simply two totally different companies, two totally different business models. ITR has been great to deal with. So we'll go ahead and talk about basically what this is. This is a boiler system that heats coolant. Ethylene glycol basically kind of looks like antifreeze right here. It keeps the coolant temperature at 180 degrees off the diesel burner, and then whenever you have heat demand internally inside the coach, it will start circulating that heated coolant inside the coach itself to maintain the temperature inside. So it's a relatively simple system. As long as you have diesel and a little bit of power, you're going to be fine. Now, for summertime use, there are 2 electric elements in there. I believe there are 2 1,500 watt electric elements, so you have 3,000 watts to be able to maintain that coolant temperature in the summertime. The only reason why you need to maintain the coolant temperature in the summertime is for your domestic water use. So there's a separate heat exchanger internally that will provide your domestic water, and you can kind of see your PEX lines running in there. It does a phenomenal job. Essentially, as long as you have either electricity or you have diesel and you have water, you'll have a hot shower. So it makes it really nice. The showers in these things are beautiful. So it's nice to get in there. If you want to take a 30-minute shower, it's not an imposition. We'll continue on. This is something minor, but probably something I'm going to start doing from here on out. Just an additional turn signal. We've all been on that highway at night where there's a car that's just planted right next to you. To me, it's kind of a good scare tactic. This side turn signal is incredibly bright. Really cool. You light that up, and if that guy's just kind of hanging out and not paying much attention to you, you'll get his attention and he will get out of your way. I can assure you of that. Continue on here. So as far as wastewater on a show hauler, we use 72-gallon tanks. They're the same style tank, whether it's gray or black. This particular coach just has a gray and a black. Kind of the options with the show hauler are endless. I mean, we've built coaches with 5 wastewater tanks, so it's not an issue there. 72 gray, 72-gallon black. Very simple setup. This is where you would add your fresh water, and there is a little pressurized water port there, so if you wanted to wash the dog off or wash feet off at the beach or something like that. This particular coach is not set up with a macerator. My personal preference is gravity works, so I don't spec many rigs with the macerator pumps, but it is an option. Continue on here. Talked about a large generator. This is the largest generator that is RVIA compliant. That's probably a whole nother video, but basically, every show hauler is built with certain compliancy to make it a true RV and not a conversion. So that 12.5 Onan does a great job. Plenty of power for the entire coach and plenty of power to power up an additional coach, as we showed you on the back of the coach. Very easy to service. There again, that's my preference. Anybody can change the oil on that generator. As long as you have the filter and some minor tools, you can change the oil on that generator in roughly about 10 minutes. We come here. I wanted to have all the slide outs out so we didn't have a delay. 3,000 watt power inverter, Xantrex, easy company to deal with. Nice, robust power inverter. The nice thing about the power inverter, we integrate an auto generator start. So the auto generator start will fire your generator off a low voltage or air conditioner demand. So on a hot day, if you left the coach, say it's 70 degrees in the morning whenever you leave, and you don't want to come back to a 90 degree coach, but you also don't want to run a generator all day long, you could set the auto generator start up, set your thermostats, and it'll maintain the coach temperature inside without having to run the generator nonstop. Battery compartment here. We have the house batteries. They're the AGM 6-volt golf cart batteries there. We're just kind of on the cusp of doing some lithium ions with Battleborn. We'll see some of those coaches coming down the line in a few months, but just simple AGMs, and then we have the chassis batteries right back behind there. Fuel on board here, single 125-gallon tank. For some of we get people that call and say, well, my older coach had 2 fuel tanks. Because of the weight of these coach and because of the emissions devices on this, basically all your emissions devices are right here on the passenger side. So we kind of limit ourselves at the single 125-gallon tank. Additional fuel can be spec'd. It just becomes problematic. You end up eating up a lot of storage and end up adding a lot of weight to the front of these coaches. They have an 18,000-pound capacity front axle. We're running generally in that 16.5 to 17,000 pounds, and so you just don't really want to press that 18,000-pound capacity. So single 125, fuel on one side, which I'm a big fan of. We were doing coaches prior to that had 260s or 270s, and it was a pain to have to fuel both sides. To me, you end up wasting a little bit of the front storage compartment, but one single 125 is definitely the way to go. I'll open up the cab here, kind of peer in. This coach, he did not want any kind of carpeted floors up front, so we just have the standard vinyl floor there. Nice factory seats. We typically just take and recover the factory seats. The factory seats are designed to be set in for hundreds of thousands of miles and thousands of miles basically per week. So Aesthetic, they don't look as fancy as some of the other diesel pusher seats. These are far more comfortable. If you're going to drive a lot, that seat is going to be 10 times more comfortable than any of the big Barca loungers. Lots of features to the seats. Of course, they are heated, and the cool thing, there is a back cycler in there. So basically, it'll massage your lower back. Does a great job out on the highway. Everything's really easy laid out. You have steering wheel controls for your clearance lights. You have steering wheel controls for your cruise control. Just a nice, easy setup. Kind of come around here. I won't pop open the hood. There's really no an engine, but we'll kind of continue around here. We're not going to continue around here. We're going to go around the other side of the coach. Pretty minimal overhang here, so easy to get in and out of places. We just did some simple mud flaps back behind the axle. Bad thing about the nice polished stainless steel mud flaps rearwards of the axle is they end up getting damaged. Before we go inside, I'll talk about the insulation on this coach. This is a fully spray foamed, so all your walls and ceiling all have a closed cell foam. And then below the floor itself, we use a 3-inch foam board, so it's very, very well insulated. I brought this coach in, it was in the 90s, and drove all the way from Indiana, and just with the dash air conditioner, the front portion of this coach stayed within roughly about 5 to 6 degrees of what the actual cab was. So we'll go ahead and come on in board here. Nice big wide entry door, very stout entry as well. This particular color scheme in this, obviously what the customer was wanting is a little bit more like a rustic feel. This is a cherry stained maple, and did the tan walls and then the wainscot below, just kind of a little bit different feel. I'm typically I'm a gray guy or charcoal, but I was really happy with the way that this coach turned out as far as the colors and such. Because everybody has their own particular preference, I mean, kind of the sky's the limit. There's so many different wall fabrics to choose from, stained board, wall fabric below, above, white ceilings, ivory ceilings. So there's a lot of different options there. But, if something you want to get further in, I can obviously, show more samples and such in the future. Nice big fiberglass cap here. Nice big opening, very similar to like a diesel pusher. You can still whack your head here, but kind of the idea is you plop your butt down and be able to maneuver around here. 43-inch TV up top here, entertainment on board there. This one has the Winegard Traveler satellite up top. Surround sound with a subwoofer, so nice sound to it. All of the windows are all dual paned, frameless windows themselves. All day-night shades. I just do regular manual day-night shades. The power just become very problematic. From a service aspect, it's just one more thing to break. Right here are some theater seats and some crazy. I guess somebody thought it would be really cool to put some little disco lights in there, but it is what it is. A little 12-volt port up front there. Nice big storage below the dinette here. We'll pull out, give you a fair amount of additional storage here. And of course you can see, a ton of windows, a ton of cabinets above. Nice big open feel. We had all these pulled just so you don't see all the stuff in the shop itself. Nice laid out kitchen. This particular living room setup is probably one of my favorites because there is a true opposing couch. That's really kind of your questions whenever you go to build a custom motorhome is, do you want some sort of opposing seating? Obviously it's great, whenever you get 3 or 4 people in here, instead of being in a line here trying to have a conversation with 3 or 4 people, you get everybody kind of spread out, and it's more like a living room, similar to like your home and whatnot. So definitely, kind of my preference. That will fold out. These do not fold out because of the heavy granite countertop. but this coach was more built for just 2 people. Nice laid out kitchen. It's kind of one thing that I am big on. Try to do a pull out trash can in everything that we get. Just makes it a little bit nicer. I'm kind of a neat freak, so it's nice not to have a trash bag tied on or some little dinky trash can that slid back in there. All the drawers, they're all dovetail and they're all soft close, so a really nice setup there. Typically, you'd have to go to a really high-end motorhome to get anything like this, and I've seen plenty of homes that are in the $1 million range that don't have any kind of dovetail construction drawers. Large cabinetry overhead. They're going to do minimal cooking, so just a simple little 2-burner stove. We can do induction cooktops. We can do 2-burner. We can do 3-burner. We can, I've gone and done, really upgraded propane fired cooktops for people that like to cook a lot. So, the options are kind of endless there. Nice little convection oven here. Just a simple residential 16 cubic foot residential fridge. So it'll get a little tight, so we'll try to have to kind of meander through. We'll go through and then we'll get back. This is your toilet and vanity inside here. Nice size closet, additional closet and wardrobe there. Nice big shower. In fact, I'll pop up here. I'm getting down from the COVID, got a haircut, so I'm more closer to 190, but 6 foot tall. Plenty of room in here. You don't have any issues whatsoever, whether you're showering, shampooing, whatever. You got plenty of room all the way throughout the inside of the shower here. If you'll notice, no skylight. I'm not a fan of doing the skylights above. They get incredibly hot. I showed a coach to a customer on Saturday, and they couldn't believe how hot the bathroom was, and I said it was solely off of the skylights. So definitely, you won't see any skylights on any of my coaches unless the customer is just absolutely has to have. We'll go back to we'll go ahead and go in here. Macerator toilet here, just because of the placement over the axles and such. All of your 12 volts, all of your 110 is all located right over here over the toilet, which is kind of indicative to most show haulers. But nice size toilet area here. You can see here I've got plenty of room, and a really nice vanity here with a really monster medicine cabinet here. I don't know if you can catch all that. Storage below. Try to get away from the stainless steel bathroom sinks. To me, they always look dirty and they're relatively small. This was a nice ceramic sink that we undermount. Nice big, a lot of room. Like I said, a lot of those stainless steel sinks, you feel like you're a giant because you stick your hands in there and you can't even wash your hands because they're so incredibly small. So we'll back up here and get back into just keep on backing up. We're good. Keep on backing up. Nice large king size bed here. I'll call it a 72-inch wide bed. Basically, your options on the beds are 60, 66, or 72-inch wide. So nice size bed. 80 inches long from the wall down. So if you're bigger guy, taller guy, there's definitely a fair amount of room here. Nice cabinetry everywhere. Light switches on either side. Little bookshelf up there. You do have USB ports anywhere that you sleep, anywhere you sit down. So it's a nice setup here trying to charge a phone. Of course, the generator start switch. The fresh water in all these is below the bed itself. So there's two 75-gallon freshwater tanks. So 150 gallons total. So if you're dry camping, you have a fair amount. If you want to kind of back all the way around there, and we'll kind of go through some of the cabinetry here. Nice big deep cabinets. This is my second or third coach with the deeper closet slide. Definitely makes it handy. If you're going to hang up a shirt, it goes in here. It doesn't have to go at an angle. So nice to have the little bit deeper closets there. Of course, spectrum out with cedar lines, and then a nice drawer set with cabinets below there. But if you were looking at a show hauler basically a little over a year ago, this particular area right here would be substantially smaller. Happy to have the deeper bed slides. Made a huge difference. Just makes the bedroom seem so much different. Small little aspects to kind of pay attention to. You know, Showhauler does a good job at making things accessible. So this guy right here, basically, if you need to get to your washer dryer valves, you can easily pull that off and be able to get to it. So things that from a service aspect, I spend a lot of time in my own service department. You appreciate things like that, because when you have to start removing things just to double check them, it becomes very problematic. Stacked washer dryer here, kind of come back through. It does have heated tile floors. They're dual zone, so basically you have your front half and your back half, and that's what those guys are. That is your inverter controller, and gray water, black water heated tanks right there. That is your diesel fired, that Oasis control board right there. Very, very simple to operate. I think that's pretty much it. We've gone over most of the features and functions of it. Like I said, this coach is sold, so don't call me and say, hey, I want to buy that coach, because it's not available. But it gives you a little bit of different ideas. I'm always happy to do something a little bit different than I have in the past, to be able to see different things. It's very difficult for me to see a sample and then put it all together. I really have to see the entire package put together. And this is a great example of, for somebody that's looking for something a little bit more traditional than very modern. I've kind of been pushing myself to more modern designs. Everybody has their own preference, and no one's right or wrong on it. But definitely, I'm happy with the way that everything came, as far as all the fabrics, the colors, and everything like that. Of course, the paint job, they did a phenomenal job on the paint job on the outside. It's definitely a cool looking coach. We got a lot of looks coming in from Indiana, but just kind of wanted to show people what is possible. Make sure you guys like our videos. If you have a whole bunch of negative things to say, maybe you can leave them elsewhere. We try really hard to keep people happy, to try to build custom coaches. Like I said, we're not videographers. I mean, we're doing this with an iPhone, but I think that you can kind of tell my passion for the units and what's important. Make sure you like our videos. Go to Facebook, like us. I think we've got a new guy that he's doing TikTok videos. He's doing all these things. I don't even know exactly what they are, but just try to expand more social media. It's obviously very important to us for everybody to see it, and see it in different lights and different aspects. So keep on coming back. Thank you.